bring a topic to the podcast, man, because obviously right now, even more so, like kids are staying at home. You know what I'm saying? Access to social media, things of that nature. So I wanted to pose a question to you guys and obviously to our listeners and our viewers. What role do you guys think like social media or even music, you know, play in a child's life? You know what I mean? Right now,
like just like pop culture in general.
Like pop culture, mainstream media, you know, that type of thing, man. Like especially when, you know, you're not around your kid. You know, obviously we don't have kids, but you know what I'm saying.
Let's
like,
preface that too.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have kids,
but
we have nieces or nephews or cousins, and you know what I'm saying. Like,
I have a son, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm playing.
Adonis.
I'm playing games.
You're hiding.
Dang it! I was gonna say you are hiding good child.
Playing.
Oh no, but just to answer your question, social media is a huge part of their lives. It's like the main part of their lives. Like all that screen time and all that type of stuff is definitely gone up during the pandemic. And even like social media that you wouldn't think about is like such a huge part of their lives. These kids are like so influenced by Fortnite, TikTok, and Roblox. Those are technically social media streams because they're playing with your friends and they live in different places. They're so influenced by the things that they see, things that they learn on these things. In the music, like you said, like bro, like it wasn't a joke when you seen like little kids have had like NBA YoungBoy parties before. Like that's how that mess goes. Like
Jesus Christ.
But I think I've seen it. It's like social media, like somebody had like all those little decorations. And I don't think that was a joke. It was probably real for somebody's kid. They love that dude. Right? He's like a huge YouTube kid person. So I mean, I imagine they do love him. It's the biggest thing for them right now. Like that is like one of their biggest influences. A lot of kids don't really care about TV and stuff like that to a certain extent. They care about things they see on the internet. They care about Fortnite. Bro, like think about it. That's where the innovators are going these days. I'll say that's what I'm saying. Like even video games now are social media platforms. Like bro, like
Twitch.
Yeah, all the things. Like, think about Travis Scott, all those other people, they go on Fortnite now. They are doing Fortnite concerts and songs.
DJ Cat, what's his name? DJ Cat Academics. His whole brand is him just going on Twitch. And just playing video games.
Playing COD or T-Pain
talking about generic SoundCloud rapper number 5. So.
Or you can be Myers Leonard and Wild Out.
Just drop that chill K word on the chill K word.
So be careful to that.
Yes. So like, I don't know. So like, I don't have kids, but like, especially like the music part, it's something I've been thinking about more and more. Like, I don't know. I've gotten older. I don't know. I used to be all like, oh, what's the big deal? You know, or no censorship. I don't know. Like, I remember, getting picked up from school and I'd be in the car with my mom. And like as a kid, like really like the first probably 9 years of my life, like my mom controlled the radio. So like she played, what's the radio station?
96.3?
Yeah, the one with the 40 club card and all that. Magic 102, and all that stuff.
Magic.
Yeah.
96.3 the worst.
Yeah, so like, my mom was like playing like,
smooth jazz.
Like, shit, like The Whispers and like, Temptations, all that.
Or she pick you up from baseball practice and it's late and it'd be playing,
Quiet. Yes, I remember that vividly.
My dad was always on sports.
So like my mom, and occasionally she would like play. My mom grew up in the 70s and 80s and they weren't listening to rap. So anyway, my point is like, when I have a kid, am I really gonna be playing like
what, Throw Baby?
Like,
Go Baby.
Yeah.
Throw Baby didn't come out when I was a kid.
So I'm just saying though, bro. Like I don't know how I feel about like songs like on the radio. Like certain songs should get cleared. Like Go Baby, like.
Is that what they call it on the radio?
That's what it's called. Go
Baby.
But like, you can't get. The song is so raunchy that you can't get rid of the raunchiness even when it's clean. Like,
I don't know if I can I love Cardi B's first album, but am I gonna play that in the car with my kid when like 4? Like, I don't think it's cute when like you see people post videos on social media of their kids cursing or saying like that is just not cute at all to me. Like, I would definitely.
Depends on the word.
To me, I don't want my kids doing any
I
of
don't know,
that
man.
shit.
Like, I feel like when we grew up, like my dad is a huge like Outkast fan. So like, Love Below Speaker Box is one of my favorite albums.
No, that's completely different.
That's like a sophisticated hip hop album, black and white.
I know, but I'm just saying like, or my dad would play Biggie. You know what I mean? But I would know. You know what I'm saying? Like, even back then,
you don't be walking around.
I agree, but there's a difference between playing.
Don't be telling no girl.
There's a difference between playing Juicy, like that song. That song is cool. I think a kid can probably listen to that, and playing Who Shot You or something like that, or Suicidal Thought. Like
my dad had Ready to Die on replay. That's why it's still my favorite rap album.
My dad was playing TLC when I was a kid.
Like Like it's just
Right.
like this
Yeah.
concept. Or like if I were to play like I'm trying to think of somebody just favorite album I just love like back to front. Play like Migos album and like again I think
The
Migos
first YG.
like Migos like their albums are fun. Like they're talking about murdering and selling drugs, but it's like in a fun way. So it's not like it is. It's like a fun way. You know what I mean? Like
You can dance to
yeah,
it.
you can dance
fun,
to it.
right.
One of the best tweets I ever saw was like back when what's the song that came out
The Tootsie Slide?
the stir fry song. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, somebody tweeted, like, the record executives came to me, I was like, so make a song about trapping and murder, but make it something that minions can dance to.
Stir fry.
This whole song is about cooking crack.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like,
in the kitchen.
Yeah, well, this is a wild
like if
concept.
I have kids, like, if I have kids, I'm not sure, like, that's what I'm going to be playing, right? I don't know what I'll be playing. Cause like when I was young, like my mom was playing that stuff, so I wasn't going and buying Temptations albums. I don't know if they put out albums in 2000, but I was watching Nickelodeon. I was watching, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel. What was
But
playing
the
on
artists-
Nickelodeon,
The artists
Disney
will be
Channel?
on there though. Like if you watch, to be fair, if you watch like All That, the first
Yeah.
one was All That
Oh,
or
yeah.
TLC. They will be. They'll
Well,
sprinkle in
yeah,
there.
but the rest of the artists you would see on there would be Backstreet Boys,
Oh, yeah.
NSYNC, and those were the first albums I had. So like, I mean, I'm not gonna get it.
Aaron was sitting around because everybody.
Yeah,
I think we all were.
Like,
I think we all were. Yeah, no, I ain't gonna lie. I do that now.
So
I say I love it every time they come on.
So like, that's something I've struggled with recently. Like I don't know if I want my kids to listen to WAP.
See, you know the hard part about this generation is like somebody said this earlier. Like they have access to so many more things that
You
even
can't
we have.
get away.
Like
with it.
even
Yeah.
if we like try to control this and control that, like they go to
They're
school,
fine.
their friend
Yeah.
shows them that video or they hear that song that their friend's playing. And same thing with social media. Like literally, kids are getting phones like younger. Like my little cousin has a phone. I think he's like 10. I don't think I had a phone at 10. I don't know when I
Maybe had like a flip phone.
I had a flip phone, I was kind of lost it.
I don't even know where I
Virgin Mobile.
But like
Shout out to
you couldn't.
I'm
get
gonna say
music.
you couldn't get
It was just like all they did was
videos,
play games.
Instagram.
That was it.
Like a kid can get a
They got
phone.
like Caterpillar on that.
Yeah,
phone.
that-
Right, like just simple games have a ringtone, but kids
Yeah.
can get phones now. They can get an Instagram for themselves. They can get on Twitter, and so like they're seeing all these extra things like that we weren't exposed to, and so like it's kind of hard to kind of like block them in that box.
So is it one of those things where like you would say this is not there will be no Cardi B played by you? If we're playing Cardi, if us and our fiance wives at that time have a party, we're gonna have a 2010 party, and we're gonna play freaking all the songs from college, whatever, that's fine. But like if you can find your kid and they're playing ass, or they're playing something like that, like is it like, oh, get this shit out of my house, or is it one of those things where like, all right, I'll explain to you this is what the song is, you're a little young for this, so maybe in like a couple years, because like I don't know if I'm gonna be like, oh, you can't listen to any of that shit, because I don't think that works.
I mean,
because like Darian said, you can't get away from it, so you can't just shield them from it. But I don't know if I'll be, oh, okay, do you want this new Cardi B like 40 years old or something by that point? Here you go. Like, I don't know how to do that, but
You don't gotta explain it, but I think that you should be like, you just set boundaries. You be like, hey man, like, you don't listen to cuss words, you know what I mean? Like, and then it also goes down to what type of, parent or what type of relationship you want to have with your kid. Like, if you want to cuss around your kid, that's different. But if you have a household where there's no cussing and things like that, then that also applies to music. Like, the kid can't listen, your child can't listen to cuss words. Like, that doesn't fly with me, you know what I mean? Like, that's one of my
what
rules.
about you personally?
Huh?
I mean, you don't have a kid yet.
Can I cuss?
I mean, when we be a kid, what do you think you would do?
I don't know, man. Like me as a parent, I think I'd be probably more like not lackadaisical, like be more chill, but have like
we have bad rules.
Huh?
You saying that nigga mad.
no, I'm gonna have rules, but at the same time, like I'm gonna talk to my kid like they're adult, like a grown up, like a kid. Like I'm not gonna baby them and be like, oh, like this is like the birds and the bees, and I'm gonna tell them how it is in my own way, but I'm not gonna like. I don't want my kid to grow up and be in a bubble, like, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna get exposed to it,
Yeah.
but I want them to have the knowledge and
But
the
I'm not gonna.
expertise
So I guess
yeah.
my nana, she had no idea. Like she would just buy everything. She stopped doing it after this. The first hip hop album I had was the Eminem Show, 2002.
Dude.
And after that, my nana was like, she's like, whoa, hold on now, like, I can't just be buying new shit. Like, I would not just buy my kid an album like that. Like, even if they find it on YouTube, whatever, like, I'm not going to be the accessory to you doing that shit.
That's a good point. Like I think I'd be the same, like similar to that, like as a parent, because like I said, like just going off the point of like you can't really control it, but like I think one thing that my parents did, like it was more so like a respect thing. Like you're raised to kind of respect your parents. Like we in this house, you gonna play the edited version. Like if you gonna play that stuff, find the edited version. Like and my dad was a DJ too, so a lot of times he would do like with the family events. It's something funny. It's like,
no. I don't think when your dad brings on the Bible trying to explain hip hop to you. This is naughty by nature, son. You gonna learn about the real hip hop today.
He had that ready to die album, and I heard that way before I should. But anyway, like I think it was more so like a respect thing. Like I'll put on the edited version, like when we're in the car. Like I'll if it's too crazy, I'll turn it off. Like, but if I was listening to something, like that's what I was listening to.
My mom will still make me cut.
Dude,
I still have to.
When I'm driving my mom around, I
Yeah.
literally don't play no rap because I'm like, I don't remember this song.
Music wild as hell. I know you can't play.
I can't play no Pee Wee Long Way. No Pee Wee Long Way. No Texas Margarita. None of that.
I remember my mom.
I don't know that.
My mom,
was a song.
my mom would like certain hip hop songs.
Yeah.
Like she would buy the album and just like that one song, and then like the rest
That's
of the
my
album.
mom right
That's
there. My mom listen to one little song on like, but got cuss words but then she'll
listen to the rest of it.
The rest of it like, what is this? Like, this isn't what I thought it was. Like, mom.
That's what I'm saying. Like even to this day, I won't go over my parents blasting some wild like raunchy like crazy shit.
My mom loved "Hiding Here" by Nelly, so she bought the Nellyville album.
I think
Then she listened to the rest of it.
Oh wow!
She was just like,
Crack that joint over her knee.
Oh no! That's right.
What?
Like she would literally just play "Hiding Here" over and over again, but like any other song, it was. And I had an F word to it, but like, all right, it was just one.
It was
so,
a soft F.
but like the rest of the song, like
They were hard Fs.
No.
Just to add on to that, I think like within that question of like what would you let your kid do and like that type of stuff. For me, I feel like it gets a little bit more difficult, kind of, sort of, just because of like. I grew up with parents that kind of like sheltered me, or they like were really like, oh, okay, you only listen to this, or you only listen to that. Like, you know, most things I heard mine was with gospel music. You know, like my parents, my parents played like they introduced like the Jackson 5 and like stuff like that. Like I know some of the stuff, but it just be like, you know, that was like the main thing. Where be like my mother wasn't buying me certain albums, or you know, like I wasn't able to hear certain music until I like had my own iTunes account and I was able to just like have some money and I could buy it myself. For me, I feel like I may be a little bit more lenient because it's like I don't want my kids to be super sheltered. Right. Just because when you get out into like the real world, so that you know, I went to a Christian school and that type of stuff, so it was like it was a little different. And it wasn't like I wasn't listening to that type of music, but like half of the reason that I probably fiend for hip hop as much as I do is because y'all told me I couldn't have it first.
Yeah, that's
That's
what happened with me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I would just sit there and explicitly say you can't have this album in here.
Right.
I don't know if I'm gonna buy it for you, but if you or maybe but I'm not gonna be excited. I'll let you listen to the album. I'm not gonna take you to the concert where every other word is what the fucking going on. I'm not gonna do that. Like I won't.
Yeah, but I mean, but if you're like watching, like at one point it was like, bro, like tell me, like not they, it would be like more so like, and I love my mother to death. Make sure you know my dad listens, so I gotta make sure I say love my mother to death. But you know, if my mother don't want to hear me like listen to MTV Jams or something like that, or she give me like a funny look. If I was a parent, from how I know myself as a person, I'm not gonna say anything to my kid when they doing certain things. I'm like, bro, like yo. I want you to be able to kind of enjoy certain things, watch certain things, because I feel like that goes a long way, and like just kind of being able to understand people and like different type of stuff. Like, yeah, I'm a church going person, but I mean, like there are other facets to life. Like here, this is a song. It'll teach you something, not teach you something, but you know, hey, it's a different thing that you may not know about, or something you may talk about. I'm not gonna say listen to the explicit version, but if you want to listen to like something that's like a little different, knock yourself out. Like 9 times out of 10, I really don't care. But that's me right now. Kind of sort of be like, you know. Just,
yeah, that's a good point. I think it. I mean, again, I wish one of us had a kid at least. But like the thing is, but like I think like really when they're younger, once you get like once I was like in middle school, like my mom didn't really care as much because I think it's good because I'm able. A lot of the reasons why, not just talking about music, I just know about so much stuff in the world is that as I got older, but I got to middle school, like I stopped watching cartoons. I started watching more interesting things.
I like cartoons.
Nothing. But, like, I'm sorry. But like I started watching just more different channels and like, you know,
You expanded
I'm not
your
gonna lie,
horizons.
like South Park like is
Oh my god.
there was like again they cussed a lot, but some of the stuff they talked about was like interesting concepts like I just had no idea about, just about like about political.
Family Guy,
not
Boondocks.
necessarily Family Guy, but Boondocks is a good example. Like
What?
the jokes are
Family Guy
funny.
is
Family Guy
is
was
a dumb cartoon.
Dumb cartoon. Yeah.
What? You thought it
It's
was
good.
trash? I love that.
No. Not that it's not good, but it's dumb. Like it's like South Park.
South Park makes you think with a lot of
South Park can actually be highbrow depending on what you
I
watch.
feel like some Family Guy episodes are highbrow.
It makes some smart jokes. I get a smart joke on occasion, but I feel like in terms of
y'all really get South Park.
I don't know, like the South Park episode about sex ed. That's where I learned a lot about sex, but it was actually like a good episode. It actually taught you a lot of things. Like the theme of the episode, you can't shelter your kids from.
I mean, I put it like this on the
same.
same level. Like South Park comes on Comedy Central and Family Guy comes on Fox. There are different levels of censorship. Like in terms of what you can show and how you can make somebody think about things on Comedy Central is a little bit different. That's possible.
But yeah, my overall point was that you can, as you get older, you can be exposed to different things that, like, if you're just watching sheltered stuff, different ideas make you think differently about things. I think that is value. Kind of like Dante said, like, if you're sheltered, this is your little box. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with it, but like you're not exposed to as many things as you want to.
And it's not a good feeling, especially, and that goes back to the time we're in with everybody's on social media and then you feel, and that feeling of being left out. I feel like a lot of kids have that.
Yeah, that's real too.
Like, so, like, and I'm similar to you, like, a lot of times, like, yeah, my dad had some hip-hop albums, but he wouldn't really like to play the explicit version. And my mom, and that's why I love R&B so much, because that's all they played. The R&B, 102.3 was the only thing that didn't have any wild curse words, and even when it got to some wild sexual song, they would change it. So, like, it was always in this box, and then, like, I feel like a lot of the time, like, especially around middle school, I noticed a lot of people knew a lot of the hip hop and everything.
Yeah,
like, I only knew the hits, but I'm like, why am I not? I don't know these songs.
I don't know the Jackson 5.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm singing all the classics. Y'all know all the. I only know the hits. Yeah. Y'all know the deep cuts. And I'm like, yo, I'm missing out. So that's when I started getting my LimeWire back. But that's another day.
And I think
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
With that woman.
And I think it's like boundaries you set too. Like,
Right.
and again, we're flying blind. We don't know what it's like, but it's like boundaries. You can like sit there. All right, if you're gonna listen to, so like the Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion thing, that was one thing that really made me think about this topic.
Right.
Cause like everybody was like, "Oh, that's okay." And I was just like, well, yeah, they performed with the Grammys or whatever. They had a really risky.
They did a raunchy ass performance
on CBS, and I just thought it was too much. The song, I'm not. The song
video is different,
but that's fine. You have to go out and see.
You gotta go out and see. But it's a
like
mainstream like
they scissored
on the and I just thought that was a lot.
Right? They flipped over.
And like you can't hide your kid from that. If they had an Instagram, they would have seen that, whatever. But I think as a parent, it's one of the things like it's just boundaries. Like, all right, listen, they're artists. This is how they're expressing themselves. They're very sexual. This is really not something that that you really have to worry about right now. You're not having sex right now. You're 12, right? So like they do this. This is what they like to do. Maybe when you get their age and you want to express yourself sexually freely, fine. Right now, you don't have to worry about this. This is on TV. This is entertainment. Like, I think that's very key. My mom never explicitly said that to me, but, like, I kind of just figured out, like, this is entertainment. This is, this is not how I go to carry myself in life, right?
We all broke and figured it out.
I can listen to Eminem on and not think about killing my girlfriend and driving off a bridge or some shit, but...
So, like, this brings me to my, like, another point or another thing I want you guys to think about is, like, does the burden fall on like the artist, like for censorship, or should it be the parent? Like,
it's definitely the parent.
You think it should all be the parent? Because I feel like you can have I feel like, in my opinion, like I feel like you can have your cake and eat it too. Like from an artist perspective, it's about projecting your beliefs and your opinions.
Well,
but then,
what are we talking? Are we talking about in terms of kids seeing it, just in general? Because like Cardi B is not marketing any of her stuff to kids. If they happen to see it, okay.
Thing in the world.
But like Cardi B does not market.
But it's the same. Like, but I'm talking about like your artists that have like a duality in terms of maybe they might be performing like at a kids show or like Nickelodeon or something like that. Have like a dual.
Like everybody kids was singing Bodak Yellow.
Well, no, just around what you're saying, like from the perspective of like who has burden or those type of things. So, like, I mean, the most recent situation would be the Lil Nas X thing where he made that new song, Call My Name, whatever it is. I can't remember. I haven't heard it. But it's one of those things where it's like, he made that song and, people are, like, upset or they were in a frenzy about it. And it's like, oh, why'd you do this? And it's like, who does the burden fall on? Him for making that song or the parent? Well, it probably does fall on the parent because at the same time, listen to the words of Old Town Road. They're not the cleanest words in the world. He has lean on Linda's bladder, for God's sake. Like, I mean, it's like a little...
But he also performed that song in front of a bunch of little kids.
I got you.
So you can't sit up here and act like, Oh man, like I'm talking about lean and I'm talking about this
because he did lean into it. You're right. He did.
He wanted the money, so like you can't have
you go with the name.
You want the bread, you want the kid bag,
and I'm with you, but at the same time, you gotta pay attention to what your kid is watching. Like,
I think the primary burden falls on the parent, but there is maybe occasionally some secondary.
He was branded as a kid's person, and he did lean into it.
I'm just saying, like you can't. I don't like the fact that he backpedaled like that. Like I want you to go to Rap Genius and look at my lyrics.
I agree with that.
I feel you, and I guess it's like one of those things where it's like it is one of those weird things because I'm one of those people in my mind where I'm like, yo, look, artists grow, artists change. If you were watching a freaking Demi Lovato video on Disney Channel like 5 years ago, that's a little different than the album that she just put out today.
Ariana Grande, dude.
That's the best example.
Wow. Like,
I'm about to say this last album compared to
is crazy. That's
some wild shit. Yeah.
And it's like, you know, everything moves, people change. And you're right. If you were the person that leaned in on the kid thing and then you had to defend yourself, or you had to do it the way Lil Nas X did, and you kind of just like be like, well, check my lyrics. I've always been raunchy. And it's like, nigga, not really like that. Right. But, you know, it's like one thing where, yeah, you should look at what your kid is playing. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it is like, it's one of those things where, yeah, you do try to give your kid freedom. But I mean, like, look, if you know your kid listening to certain stuff and they're of like a younger age, for the type of kids that was in Old Town Road, excuse me, that was like, my bad. It's like, nah, those were like 10, 11-year-olds, bro. You should have
they were singing this in kids' classes.
You should be walking behind them and being like, yo,
and they shouldn't have been, though. That's the thing, too.
Yeah, it's like, bro, and it's like,
teachers, parents.
It was a cute song. It was a cute song.
I didn't even know that was in the lyrics because sometimes like
it's the littlest things to be ignored.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's littlest things, and like sometimes it might be something that might have been mumbled, but then you look at the actual lyrics, and you're like, whoa, like
he's like every other person. He's like every other entertainer where they try to grow up. They want to edge, the sex appeal.
And it's not like they're gonna come out on Instagram. All right, guys, my next album is going to be raunchy. It's going to be raunchy and mature. So thank you for all the money you've given me.
I know, but I feel like
thank you for the Grammy.
I feel like what we're missing right now, though, I'm gonna let you get to your point. Is like you guys use the example of Ariana Grande, right?
Yeah.
So, but you gotta understand with her fan base grew up with her in terms of. Now they're old enough to be like, all right, like I'm with that. Lil Nas came to them. These 11-year-olds. It's only been like 2 years and Lil Nas been popular.
That's right.
Like god dang, like I can see like I'm 21 right now, so Lil Nas been out for 6 years since he came on Old Town Road. Like I'm up there.
You're not wrong, but I flip it for you too. Lil Nas X also came out as an adult. So these are Ariana Grande was a child. So basically, it's like this. You'll see gradual change. With Lil Nas X, he could have always done this type of stuff he wanted to. But I mean, look, let's be real. The type of stuff you have to gradually do that type of stuff. Unless you're trying to be a really niche artist. Lil Nas X opened everything up to the point where he had all the eyes on and all the attention that he could want. And then he decided, all right, left, curveball, take this. Here's a song about me. Or here's a video. And I don't know what the song says. I haven't listened to the song.
I mean, ultimately, I ain't even listen to that song. And the video
I can't really, that's why I'm not going to judge the lyrics of the song, but it's like, you know, hey, he just decides one day, here's a left turn on the video. He'll probably win a VMA for it because it's wild stuff.
Different.
It's left.
Great CGI.
None of us thought about it.
I mean, ultimately, it's not like they're trying to like maliciously, hey, I'm gonna fuck up some kid's life, or hey, I'm gonna negatively impact some kid. Like you got to think about it like this. Like these people, just like they're ordinary people when they started out. They weren't born famous. Like well, some of them were.
So this is what I will say.
What? You won't let me finish my point? God damn, you talk like 50 times. Go ahead.
Sorry. Why you missing?
Nah, I forgot now. I forgot. It's alright.
Nah, show this point.
Go ahead.
Kill this nigga now.
Like you said they're not doing it. It's not like fucking Mighty Morphin Power Rangers where like they're trying to turn the kids into bad guys. Right? They're not doing that.
I'm about to say,
but nigga, they know the kids are the most valuable fucking demographic to have as a fan base. Their parents spend money. So like I'm not gonna let them off that easily.
No, but I don't think it's malicious. I don't think they're like they want money. Like these are people who are like especially young people who want not malicious because you want to make it like improve your life. You want to improve your family's life. You're not saying fuck those kids. Like you're saying like I want to make money. Like it's. Like you can call it selfish, but I wouldn't call it malicious.
That's the villain.
I'm about to say like,
but this is to the point. Like I said, you can have your cake and eat it too.
So I'm actually starting to agree with Malik's point more. Damn.
What?
And that was gonna be where I was getting to.
The more you think about it, Gleek's not wrong. I'm just saying that look, it's the way it is with adults. He's a grown ass man. He can make music.
But
that's what I'm saying,
bro. Without dragging kids into it.
No, but why does he have to stay in this lane?
I'm not saying he drag kids into like saying, hey, like I'm doing a Kids Bop album, like, and then next album I'm gonna do is gonna be about Call Me by My Name or your name, raunchy stuff.
I don't owe you that credit. I don't have to tell you about shit.
He can do whatever he wants to do.
The Weeknd literally made a song about snorting blow, and it was on a kid show. Then he bragged about it on his next album.
He did.
Right.
So that's okay. Lil Nas, I don't know if I'm mad at Lil Nas because that new song is not marketed yet. I will say Ariana Grande. I don't know if I'm gonna let her off the hook because she still doesn't market herself to kids. Taylor Swift does the same shit because I went to Taylor Swift concert. I like Taylor Swift, but like if you go to her concerts, the majority of her fan base are still young. Even though she's been around for a while.
What is Taylor Swift talking about though?
She don't cuss, but I mean, when she does get a little raunchy and mature on her song. Not raunchy, but she gets learned.
I'm just saying, like these people are individuals. They're gonna want to do what, like, it's their expression at the end of the day. It's expressions of them. They want to like they're growing up, they're learning new things. They can't stay in that kid lane forever.
I totally agree. It's just artists be able to make whatever music they want to make. They don't have to make an Instagram video saying, But what I will say is, if I see Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion presenting an award at the Kids' Choice Award, that's different. Like, that's a problem. I will say that.
All right, wait, but then that's also on the parent for letting their kid listen to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion because none of their songs are marketed towards children.
I'm saying, but sometimes
no songs are marketed towards children.
Hell yeah, they are.
What songs?
Well,
like,
I mean, but if Cardi decides to do a kids movie or something,
I'm saying like,
Cardi, what if she decides to do like a song
was
for
there any
kids?
song that was made for kids? Like, it just became something that was
nigga. They were marketed towards the children.
I'm saying, what if she does something for kids? Like, she can't come to kids.
Wait, like teen rappers like Bow Wow and people like that, they are marketed towards kids. They have grown women in their video, which is a little weird, but this is neither here nor there. Those are marketed toys. Now, when you talk about adults and those type of things, it does get a little questionable. Yeah. Kids kind of just listen to whatever they can get their hands on.
Part of the problem too is like hip hop is pop music now. Yeah. So like that is what the popular music is.
And you'll listen to whatever you get your hands on, whatever you can hear on the radio, whatever you hear. That's what a kid will listen to. Whatever you're listening to is what your kid listens to. 9 times out of 10, if you have like a 5-year-old, they hear what you're listening to.
Because it's just like I don't know. Because like South Park used to get in trouble for this because they say they weren't marketing to kids, they would sell toys. So, like, I mean, like, wrestling would do the same thing. WWE say, Stone Cold gives the middle finger, but it's not for kids. It says TV-14, but
I get that old South Park
figures, though.
Thing.
Like,
I get the South Park.
Because
they're cartoons.
Like kids' toys. Yeah,
right. Cute and cuddly. You know what I'm saying?
So, like, in that case, like, so if Cardi B is just all her album, if Cardi B is marketing herself, like, not marketing, but if she's on the Kids' Choice Award, and I'm not saying she is, but if someone like an artist like that, to me, that's a little, But at the end of the day, I do agree with Dante's point. It's on the parent of the day. You can let me control your kids.
Flip-flopping.
No, it's like he's saying that we both.
It's kind of both, though. I was gonna say it's both.
It's one of those weird intersections where it's like, yo, look, as a parent, you do have to be aware of what your kid is listening to and or doing. But at the same time, yes, as an artist, you're a grown person. You're allowed to say whatever you want. But it's like we've been saying, like, yo, if you've been sitting around presenting this aesthetic as I'm for the kids, then it is kind of on you to think about what you're not. And I'm not saying you have to change your message or anything like that. But if you're gonna lean into the kids market, like, bro, if they were to put the Migos on a freaking Kids' Choice Award, which I mean, we've talked about. I'm about to say stir fry. Kids don't stir fry. I bet.
Because I mean, they still produce edited versions. I mean, the subject matter is looking to it.
And it's like bro, like you said, stir fry is like the cutest song about making crack I've ever heard in my life. It is beautiful track. But it's just like, we got to really think about what we're presenting to kids and how they are learning from it. But yeah, like we're all adults, bro. Like it's like put it like this. It's like if you're an adult and you're cursing at your table at a restaurant and the kid's at a table beside you. It is not on you, technically speaking, to change your conversation. Right. You can be polite and tone it down and make a choice, but that is
Well,
it.
it's like-
And here we go, too.
It's not
I mean, like in the
Music,
barbershop,
right.
when there's a kid,
Right.
the barber
And
be like, hey,
I'm about to say,
hey,
you know,
hey, hey.
But it is not your responsibility.
Right.
You're not that child's father.
Right.
All it is
It'd be
on
nice to
all
do.
all it is on you to do is to just make a decision if you're going to do that. Like, yo, if I'm sitting at the restaurant, there's a kid behind me, yeah, fine. In my heart, I may be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna chill out on the cousin because there's a kid behind me. But for a lot of people, it's like, yo, fuck that kid. And where's Michael Jordan?
And building off that too, like I think on the artist part, like I feel like they should express themselves however they want to express it, but I feel like the part that comes, like if they say some wild shit and people react to it a certain way, they should be held responsible for what the shit that they say. You get what I'm saying?
Well, like,
So-
what type of wild shit?
So like say the restaurant
Lean on
is-
my bladder.
yeah, that. But say the restaurant example. If I'm cursing and I realize there's a kid behind me, like I'm not cursing at the kid, but I'm cursing at the person in front of me, and the kid hears me, and I hear the kid repeat it. And the mom is like, why are you cursing in front of my kids? It's my job to apologize to that mom. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yes and no.
All right,
I mean, that was just an example.
This is what I'll say. Like, it'd be nice. It'd be the good.
No,
thing
it would
to
be
do,
good, but I think
you're
they
not
should.
obligated.
And that's
to
why
do
like
something.
that's why the whole thing is these are the quote unquote right thing to do,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean this is what we have to do. And I think that's
But they're clearly like paying the consequences of
Now,
this stuff, and they have to.
If you come to Chuck E. Cheese and do that, then that's different.
I get what
'Cause,
you're
like,
saying.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like they're in a restaurant. It's free game. But if I came to Chuck E. Cheese where that's the kids' domain, like kids' award
Yeah.
show, or a school
Yeah.
to
Or
perform, lean all in my bladder, then you know what I'm saying. I am knowingly coming into this motherfucker. Tainting the, you know, like just like you said, like you know what I'm saying, like if you go to Chuck E. Cheese and you cussing in that bitch ass Chuck, where the fuck animatronic no fucking working in
It's
this.
easy with this
It's
example, but
always
it's harder with music because music is just
I know.
like
No,
all
and
encompassing.
hip hop
You know what I'm
music
saying?
is the popular music.
Right.
You can't get away from it.
Right.
So yeah, it's.
You
I
can't
wish we had a
win.
parent to come. I would love to. If you're a parent, you listen. Please tell us what you do for your kids. You let them listen to WAP.
Hit us up, man.
Does your kid know what WAP
You
is?
know what a WAP
I
is.
think Malik Dad's gonna be in the comments. I ain't let that little nigga do shit.
I ain't let him listen to none of that. I don't know why he cussed so much.
Or it'd be loud. I like good WAP. It's like,
Yo,
So WAP. I love a WAP.
oh man,
You just wanted to.
grow up, niggas, grow
you
up.
gotta bring this plate in for.
How y'all get here?
I
Hello.
wish I had a little sound effect to give every time someone has a bar and they drop. Like, okay, there you one off that
You
one.
got it?
Message. Just put that little key in every way. Enjoy it there.
I actually had that drop, and I just don't
stopped
use
using it. Yeah.
But yeah, damn. So God, well, and probably the next, if Temptations survive the next 5 years, we'll have an episode where we revisit this topic when we have kids.
Yeah.
Little Darian is gonna be walking around like,
How old am I? I got kids. I want to. Jesus Christ, why you giving me anxiety right now?
At some point.
I'm about to say it, bro.
Let me be a kid.
you don't have to have a
You
kid.
a grown
It
ass
doesn't
man.
have to be a grown up. I get it.
I didn't do all that, but that.
What did you say?
I said he doesn't have to have a kid to be a grown up. I was joking.
I was just saying in general, the odds are high.
Hey, meet me in Temecula.
The
nigga.
odds are.
So,
Where is that, bro?
California.
Oh, you never see? It's like
Wait,
really,
isn't it? Wait,
It's a really obscure Kobe Bryant story where basically this dude was making fun of like Kobe and his other name was,
Oh,
nigga, meet me in
drove up?
Temecula. Yes, and that was like the
It was
whole
on- it was on
Is that
Twitter.
stuff? Didn't he really?
No, the
No.
dude never came.
The other dude on Twitter was ready though. He told him, nigga, meet me in
And this was
Temecula.
on Christmas, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
That's what
It
made
was-
it
I
funny.
think
The guy
it was-
left his family to go fight him over Kobe.
Temecula.
I'll be right back here.
Like niggas in Southern California don't play
We
about
just need to have a
Kobe.
podcast where, like, the concept, we just explain Twitter things. That's
Basically.
Damn, it's a good ass idea.
Bro,
Damn,
we just gonna play sports things. Some of those are really fun too. Niggas don't be thinking about it.
Shit, damn.
We give it too much.
God
knowledge.
damn it, everyone steals them, kill
Throwing
them.
away Jones.
It's alright, we're gonna delete this part.
But,
Nigga love the delete button.
Nigga, he's over that time.
Alright,
on that
so
screen over
this
there.
is, this has been episode, we went long today.
That was good.
That was a good topic, though, I
Nah, it was
think.
fun, man.
We 4 of us got together talking about shit we have no idea about, so it was great. I enjoyed it.
That happened.
Talking about how we're gonna be parents. Meanwhile, if I have a kid in the next 3 years, my whole opinion may change. Be like, yo, Aaron, don't you dare
Just
just
might
around my
change.
child.
This might change. Yeah.
No, I think it's actually a good one to revisit and see, like, how it goes. Like, we have kids and shit. Like, if we're still doing the pod in 5 years, and Darian, we're still at your house, and you have a kid.
Well, I had to have the kid. This is
But I'm just saying, because
You
you're
got the infrastructure.
this is your house. And like,
Infrastructure.
I'm saying,
All y'all niggas want to have the
It's
infrastructure.
like a
Yeah.
fucking building or
you know
some
what I'm
shit.
saying? Your kid's
Like
like,
a road.
Dad, can I sit there? And why you guys? record the podcast? Like, what are you gonna say?
Mm.
Fuck no, son. Take
Take your ass
the hell up,
upstairs,
said
boy.
get out my face.
Fuck no,
It's
you
my
was
time.
like, piss
Shit.
This nigga just start breaking out all the swears. I was like, okay. I ain't never heard of father calling someone a piss ant before.
That's
Damn,
the answer.
you gonna call him an ingrate next?
But you know, I just think it's an interesting question. And again,
Nah,
I
it's
think
definitely interesting.
you know we definitely as we evolve into manhood and all that comes with it. Next episode, we're gonna talk about low testosterone as we get older. No, gosh, man, I just can't in the gym. I just can only go for about 40 minutes. I used to go for an hour. After 40 minutes.
No,
get
nah,
tired.
we can do
This shit that Frank
We can-
Thomas be
No,
The big hurt, he got this
yeah,
stuff
the little X stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm about to say, we do that episode.
That
We
shit
can
whack.
really,
This shit-
we can swing a
Bro, your shit be going
promotion
hard
for
for 3 weeks, bro. You take it.
I just
Cameron got a little energy drink too.
Oh, he
it's like
does?
a little pink. It's pink something.
Oh wow,
Cameron.
I'm not surprised.
Just a can. Bro, Cam markets everything.
He does.
Come
All
on,
right,
man.
that's episode 70 here. Great conversation with my bros. Shaman, shut up, Cole.
This man's unbelievable here.
It's your boy Malik, aka They Be Geeking Leak.
And it's your boy Darian, aka Clark Kent, and these are the Hentations.
We gone.
Damn, that's smooth.